This is the refreshed Volkswagen Arteon. It's what the Phaeton should have been from the start. Phaeton, Phaeton, it's pronounced Phaeton. You're welcome, you can subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. And now a short history lesson, so sit back and relax. In the beginning of the 21st century, Volkswagen launched a luxury model called the Phaeton. One could argue the car was commissioned by then VW Group chairman Ferdinand Piëch. The Phaeton was supposed to compete against the Audi A8, BMW 7 Series, Lexus LS or the Mercedes-Benz S-Class. Some also say it was VW's attempt to retaliate against Mercedes' decision to launch the affordable A-Class. Sure, a competitor launches something cheap, so you go out all the way and go after his most expensive product, especially since you already have a luxury limousine in the group. Apparently, the Phaeton was supposed to be more comfortable, as the A8 was, Piëch felt, too sporty. Volkswagen launched the Phaeton on the very platform that also underpinned the Bentley Continental, which launched a year after the Phaeton. But hey, who's gonna say no to the chairman, right? I find it hard to believe the Phaeton was on sale until 2016, despite disappointing sales figures. Meanwhile, Volkswagen launched the Passat CC, which later dropped the Passat name and became just the CC. And when the Phaeton production stopped, the CC was replaced by the Arteon. The Arteon is a better, nicer Passat. It has more powerful engines, more tech as standard. It looks better, but it's still a VW. Choosing an Arteon, you don't have to explain why you're driving an expensive limousine, but you also don't need to explain that this is a limousine, but with a VW badge. As part of the facelift, the Arteon was also given a shooting brake body style, and this takes us nicely to the Phaeton. Phaeton was not only a VW car, but also the son of Clymene and Helios, as well as an open-top, sporty horse-drawn cart. This name was later used to describe early roofless cars, not exactly something you'd associate with VW Phaeton. Anyway, the shooting brake, which nowadays is a coupe-estate body style, is another horse carriage term. It was used by hunters. That wraps up our history lesson today. We return to the Arteon. So, what's new? First of all, there's the new shooting brake variant. You can have a car that's attractive and more practical. The Arteon gets a lot of kit as standard. Besides the standard Essence trim, every other version gets the Travel Assist as standard. That's part of the IQ Drive systems, which make semi-autonomous driving possible. In layman's terms, adaptive cruise control maintains distance from the car in front, and it can slow down or accelerate to the set speed. Lane Keeping Assist corrects your line and even takes you around some less complicated bends. There is a road sign database in the sat-nav, and a camera reads signs as well, which allows the cruise control to set new top speed. And if you have a route planned in the sat-nav, the car will start slowing down before the next maneuver. The Arteon isn't fully autonomous yet, but it does take a load off the driver, for example, during driving on motorways or when you're stuck in traffic. That's not exactly new. Travel Assist, even if it wasn't called that, was available in the pre-facelift Arteon. Perhaps now it works a bit better, but it was here before. The pre-facelift Arteon also had very direct steering, at least compared to the Passat, and was also very well soundproofed, and nothing has changed here either. The engine lineup has expanded. For the first time in the Arteon, you can get a PHEV, that's the same powertrain as in the Passat. The R variant is new as well, with a 320 horsepower engine and a new 4-motion all-wheel drive system with a torque splitter. Diesel engines now get something called twin dozing. Two catalytic converters get two separate AdBlue injectors. One is close to the engine and works as soon as the engine starts. The other one is further down the exhaust system where exhaust gas temperature is much lower. The latter works when the engine is under heavy load. New for the Arteon, but we've seen it in the refreshed Tiguan. In the 190 horsepower TSI motor, VW uses something called the Budak cycle. It boosts efficiency by up to 10% by increasing the compression ratio. This is where Mazda fans scream, "Sky Active, bitches!" But it's not the same. In the Budak cycle, when the engine works under low load, the intake valve closes earlier, which helps reduce fuel consumption. This is the Elegance trim, but manufactured in 2020, so it still has the 272 horsepower TSI motor. The 2021 cars get a 280 horsepower version. The 280 horsepower version should accelerate from 0 to 100 km per hour in 5.5 seconds. The 272 horsepower version should do it in 5.8 seconds. I did 3 runs and I got about 6.5 seconds. From 80 to 120 it varied between 4 and 4.5 seconds. It was cold, but the tarmac was dry. I tried with launch control and without. The fuel tank capacity is 66 liters. Fuel economy 9 to 10 liters per 100 kilometers on the dual carriageway. In the city it's above 10 liters, but we're talking about an estate car weighing more than 1700 kilograms. Maybe it's the size that makes the Arteon feel quicker than the numbers suggest, because it does feel quick. Visibility is better than in the liftback, thanks to large windows behind the C-pillar. Comfort, as I said earlier, the Arteon has great soundproofing. The seats are comfortable as well, and the driver aids make driving less stressful. The main changes in the cockpit include the steering wheel, which now gets touch controls like we've seen in the ID.3 or the Tiguan R. Most of these controls have haptic feedback. There's like a little click. The volume control for the radio is an intuitive slider, which theoretically should work in my smartphone-enabled gloves, but it doesn't. Maybe I'm too cold. I don't know. Now, the steering wheel is heated, but even with 3 heating stages, it's not powerful enough for a frosty morning like today. Minus 13.5 shows the thermometer. Now, it also takes much longer than I would like to reach some sort of decent temperature, not as quick as in a Hyundai Tucson or Suzuki Across. On the plus side, the heating doesn't turn off after half an hour like in Hyundais and Kias. On the negative side, it doesn't remain on all the time like in the Suzuki, where there is a physical button and once you switch it on, it's on throughout the winter. There are also new buttons for the climate control with touch sliders for temperature. The analog clock disappeared from the top of the console. In the Passat, it has been replaced with the Passat logo, but in the Arteon, VW went as far as to redesign the air vents and only leave the hazard light switch up there. I don't see any other changes. The glove box is average size, storage under the armrest is small. In it, there are 2 USB-C ports. If your phone doesn't do wireless Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, you'll need to connect it under the armrest, as there is no place for a USB port in the phone cubby at the bottom of the center console. It's very tight, by the way, but there is a wireless charger in it. Cup holders are large, but plastic stoppers inside make a screeching noise on my steel cup. If I was falling asleep behind the wheel, I'd wake up just reaching for the coffee before actually drinking it. Door bins are large. In the back, nothing has changed except for the fact there is slightly more headroom in the shooting brake. There is good legroom, climate control, a 230-volt socket as well as a USB port. The backrest splits 40/60 and there is a ski hatch behind the armrest. In the armrest there are 2 cup holders. You can also store bottles in door pockets. You can open the boot manually, remotely or with gesture. The shooting brake boot volume is only 590 liters, only because the liftback has 563 liters and that's up to the window line, up to here. Fold the backrest and you get 1632 liters in the shooting brake, 1557 liters in the liftback. Again, not a tremendous difference. In both variants, the maximum cargo length with the seats down is almost 210 centimeters. Yes, you can get a bit more stuff in the shooting brake, but the extra space is something your dog may enjoy, because you're not taking this to a DIY store, are you? Under the boot floor is a mini spare. There's no place for the cargo cover, unfortunately. There are two large shopping bag hooks. Now, you can close the tailgate with gesture, and there is a sensor which can tell that you're close, so you have a dozen seconds or so to pick up your stuff and leave. And if you don't, the system will disarm. Also, there is no possibility to lock the tailgate and the locks at the same time, so you have to use the remote key in the end. See, I think now it disarmed. Let's see. Yeah, I was talking too long, so beep, beep, and now I can leave and it's gonna lock. Well, close. Price of the refreshed VW Arteon start at €44,650 for the liftback with a 2-liter 100 horsepower diesel at £1,000 for the shooting brake. The sensible 190 horsepower petrol starts at £47,000, the PHEV at 52, and the R variant at 63,000. The most powerful 200 horsepower diesel with 4Motion starts at €53,000. This is the 280 horsepower shooting brake 4Motion in elegance trim. It starts at €55,000, and with options, this car costs about €67,000. And this, boys and girls, is what the Phaeton should have been all about from the beginning. Instead of pretending to be a luxury limousine, it would have been a technologically advanced, elegant car that clearly differs from the Passat. And what do you think about the Volkswagen Arteon? Let me know in the comment section below. If you like my sarcastic, down-to-earth and possibly mildly amusing car reviews, join me every Friday at 3 p.m. Central European Time. And don't forget to subscribe and like this video, as it helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.